Hi, you're listening to Erik Huberman, and this is Making the Marketer. Today I'm here with Jeff Nicholson, Chief Media Officer of Vayner Media. How you doing, man?
Fantastic. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, great to have you. So, to start off, would love to hear a little bit about your background. What are you doing now at Vayner? A little bit before that, can you get into a little detail?
Yeah, great. So I am the Chief Media Officer at Vayner Media. I'm responsible for the media team as well as analytics. And then I also run our ad tech company called Tracer. I'm the CEO of that as well. Most of my day is a combination of a focus on talent, people first and foremost, recruiting and retention, to revenue generation for both companies, really trying to make sure that we're continuing to grow and add both clients and services to our roster. And then three, right now, international expansion, really making sure that we're a global company and have the infrastructure to support some of the largest companies in the world.
Awesome. And so for a little context, how big is your team? How big is the company? What can you share there?
Yeah, so company's over 800 at Vayner, and the media department and analytics is just over 200 as well. Mm-hmm. And on the Tracer side, we're 18 full-time engineers.
Awesome. And so taking it back to the beginning, how did you get into marketing?
Yeah, so I actually did major or concentrate in marketing in college. So I went to Babson College, an all-business school. They didn't actually have full majors at the school, but they had concentration. So what did you find of interest? And I was always fascinated with the concept and combination of creative, media, strategy, and analytics all coming together for a brand.
Got it. And so where did that come from? Why pick that major? Why get into that?
Yeah, really, I think it was the draw in a lot of brands that I loved. I mean, I was a basketball fan growing up and played at school as well as, through my whole kind of childhood. And for me, I was a very big Nike fan and watching, Larry Bird and Jordan and everybody and kind of the whole, I always think of McDonald's, the classic commercial with Larry and Mike kind of playing horse. And so it was always that dynamic of these kind of feelings and emotions that brands got to create and kind of their relationship with consumers I was always fascinated with.
Awesome. And so on that, you've obviously done very well with it. You've had quite a career. And so you're separated from most. A lot of people love to get into marketing. I think we can both agree most of them aren't cut out for it. So what would you say separates those people? What makes people around you good marketers?
Yeah, the two things I always try to look for in talent, and I think try to carry myself in the same regard, is one, work ethic or hunger. I really find that whether you're poor or you have a chip on your shoulder or whatever that motivational tactic is, I do feel like that's a big facet of success, especially in marketing, because it's a lot of problem solving on a day-to-day. And then the other one is just raw talent. I think there are certain skill sets. We hire a lot of people that are really kind of predominant in economics or math. But we have other people that are really well written. I think it's just, having a specific skill set that will be translatable to your workload is going to be a big deal. And
on that point, do you think you need to have both, be well written and be good at mathematics, or do you think that you can kind of be really good at one and complement the other in other ways or substitute for the other?
Yeah, I don't think there's any perfect combination. I think the bigger thing is having leadership and management that appreciate what you are and try to both round your skill set out and also apply you and maximize your value.
Yep. And assuming you don't have that leadership, being able to do it yourself seems to be an important part as well. Knowing what you're good at, knowing what you're not good at, and finding people to complement that.
Yeah, I think you have to know in your career that, when it comes down to it, you're going to be responsible for yourself. And, my dad's line was, no one's going to pay your mortgage except you. And so that promise of the bank is really the promise to yourself around you have to invest in your own career and development, make sure that when it comes down to it, those people are hopefully adding value to you, but it's your responsibility to add value to yourself.
Yep, 100% agree. And so spinning it a little bit, you guys obviously provide marketing as a service, but what has marketing meant for you guys, as a brand? You have a very unique agency in the way it was built. So we'd love, more details on how you found to market how you guys have found marketing to build what you've built.
Yeah, I think, most people know Gary, my boss, Gary Vaynerchuk, the infamous and one and only. I think when you look at us, I think we're the epitome of marketing because Gary lives his truths. He publicly documents his entire day and really talks about his successes and the things he's trying to do and his failures as well, and really just be a positive motivation in the world. And I think that's, one, very respectable, and two, very difficult. I think it's, underestimated how difficult it is to document every day. And so from a marketing perspective, we win on the fact that I think Gary does live that and he's his own brand. And I think that's really exciting to have that level of pride from your CEO where he's willing to take that risk on. And I think it's a big deal.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more. And so, taking it back to Babson and back to your beginnings, if you were talking to yourself back then, or just any new marketer, what would be like one piece of advice, one thing you wish you were told that would have set you up maybe for more success, or just pointed you in the right direction, alleviated a little pain along the way?
Yeah, I would have loved more push in regards to skill depth and breadth, and what would have kind of naturally happened to the roadmap. I think a lot of mine was luck, to be very honest. I think, being born in 1982 and kind of the rise of both the platforms that we live on now and cell phones and just the technology in general has been a huge benefit for my career and kind of the opportunities that came to me. But I would have loved to have been more curated around why I picked up certain skills at certain times, and I always felt like I could have been further ahead if I was more curated. I felt a lot of mine were opportunistic as opposed to planned.
Fair enough. And hindsight's always 20/20, but at the same time, it's the whole I'd rather be lucky than good.
That's right.
That's nothing wrong with that. And I think all of us that end up in a place of success there's a lot of luck involved.
I mean, that's me being nitpicky. I'm very blessed. Yeah.
No, for sure. But on that same note, trying to look ahead, where do you think marketing is going? Let's say 1 year and 5 years. Like, what are big trends that you see coming in the next year? And then, let's go way out and 5 years away.
Yeah, so I think a couple trends you'll see are one, in the next 10 years, I think you'll see a pretty big shift in the C-suite talent and kind of power dynamic at all sizes of companies. So if you classically think about the skill set around a chief marketing officer or media officer, even the need for one, is a pretty robust difference. So much more, I think, brand-led in the 70s and 80s, and I think you're more now pushing towards technology and understanding DMP and targeting segmentation and the different platform nuances that you have to play in today's marketplace. So I think you'll see a really big change in dynamic and C-suite talent. I think the other thing you'll see is a lot more, insourcing. I think, the trend will happen and continue more. The need for partners will always exist, but I think the dynamics of procurement and how people make those decisions are going to shift pretty dynamically.
Awesome. So, a couple more questions.
Please.
One, and let's not go obvious with this one. Who's your marketing idol?
My marketing idol. Wow.
Or mentor?
I'd say mentor is definitely Gary, without a doubt. He's the best boss I've ever had in my career, both in support function and just honestly consistent feedback and leading by example. I think is one of the things I love about him most. I'd say who I look up to from a marketing perspective. Really are the professors that I took classes from at Babson. I'd say Heidi Neck, I saw her recently on campus, is probably one of the greatest ones for me because she really taught business context freshman year. So I'd say it's a lot of the professors.
Awesome.
Yeah. And
last one, it's a fun one. What's the most exciting campaign you've been able to work on?
Wow. I'm going to have a lot of clients hate me after I answer this question, so thank you so much for that, Erik.
All right, so let's just say what's an exciting campaign you've worked on and what made it great?
I'd say, I'd say to watch a lot of the creative on Anheuser-Busch recently, specifically Budweiser, and this isn't even my team. We have very little to do with this, but watching the creative and production team produce some of the commercials for Budweiser that are being used obviously nationally in their campaigns, specifically around like Folds of Honor and some of the tributes they've made to soldiers, has been really just impressive and fun to watch when you think about an iconic brand in America, and it's something that I think is really important to remember around service and the military. It's just been very nice to watch us kind of highlight both that product and that service function that everyone does for our country. And I thought that was really special.
That's a great way to leverage marketing for good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, very cool. Well, again, thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Appreciate you being here, and we'll love to have you back soon.
Yeah, thank you, Erik. I appreciate it. Love to be back.